right, welcome back for another episode of Stat Jams. Today we have the band GILT with us. And just to start it off, I'll read a little bit about them. GILT is a four-piece post-hardcore band drowning in a sea of self-examination. Barring is its namesake from the aesthetic use of gold, their music reflects the metal's unfeeling nihilism and sense of wonder. During the band's growth from 2017 to now, change, be it personal or through current events, made it impossible to remain silent. GILT uses its notion as a catalyst and navigating topics of gender dysphoria, body dysmorphia, and mental health. They synthesize the past via reflection of what's lost or could have been, the present through action and validation, and the future through lived experience. Well, thank you. That was a heck of a bio.
Yeah,
that sounds
really
so much more badass than just what we look like.
I mean, I get really
damn
nervous.
sad.
This takes me back to like reading, like when you're next in line to read in class in like junior high or high school.
I'm so sorry.
I get that flashback when I have to.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you sending it over. I don't know if each of you want to introduce yourself and like how you contribute to the band.
Yeah, my name is Ash, and my pronouns are they, she, he, and I play the drums, and that's about it.
Awesome.
My name's Tristan. My pronouns are they, them. I play guitar, and I used to play drums, but I was very bad at it. So now I play the guitar again. It was guitar, drums, guitar.
Back at it.
My name is Nico. My pronouns are they, them, and I play the bass and I do backup vocals.
Nice.
My name's Tyler. My pronouns are he or they. I don't really contribute to the band. I detract from it. I'm the liability whenever I talk.
We'll take it. I mean, there's got to be like a wild card in there somewhere.
Yeah, somebody has to say something that goes, well, now we can't post this interview now, can we? Thanks, Tyler.
Sometimes Tyler is like existing in the band, and sometimes Tyler is a void of our imagination.
Yeah.
Depending on the situation, he either takes it over the top or sinks it.
Yeah, just don't bring up Death Note. I probably won't say anything edgy.
I just gotta.
Well, first off, I just want to ask, like, I'm sure every interview you've had this year, you've been asked the same question, but just want to check in to see how everybody's doing. I think I read a few of your past interviews, and some of y'all lost like some jobs, unfortunately. Like, very sorry to hear about it. With 2020 being like so difficult, has there been anything like positive that's come out of it? I know a lot of people are like making sourdough or like knitting or something like that to like fill their time or like pick up a hobby. Like, has there been anything positive that any of you have done to like better yourself or better your music or anything similar?
Ash.
Ash, yeah, it has to be Ash.
All right. That's fair.
We have an order.
I didn't know. Okay, so we're going in order for this thing. Okay,
Okay.
so I for this year, I've just like had so much time to just cosplay, because like I was doing it before, but we would go on tour before, and I wouldn't really bring it on tour with me because it's just too much of a hassle. But I had so much more time to just really like hone in on like how I wanted my like cosplay aesthetic to be, and like my platforms on like TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, and like and editing like photos and video editing for like my videos. It's just like I was able to really like dive into that, and it's been really fun.
What's your cosplay? I'm not familiar. I don't cosplay, so is it a character? Is that?
Yeah, I do like just a lot of characters from like My Hero Academia and all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, nice.
So are you telling me that the way that you dressed on tour wasn't cosplay?
Just a
Is that your
bag
regular
of wigs.
outfits? Well, when Ash said their platforms, I thought they meant their demonias.
No, I didn't bring my demonias on tour. I would never bring my demonias on tour.
What were the shoes that broke when we were at Fest?
That was not at Fest, but in Gainesville, and those are just some like $10 platforms I got. I can't even remember where.
If the shoe is bigger than an inch, I assume it's a demonia.
True. No, those aren't my demonias.
Did y'all like ever stop at a cosplay convention just for Ash on tour?
No, we don't stop the band for anything unnecessary.
We were playing in Orlando the day of Holmat. I was like, I gotta figure out a way to get to this convention somehow before we have to play this show. But
Wait, are you talking about Holiday Matsuri?
yes.
Okay, I've just never heard it called that.
Yeah.
Cool.
But-
You got to be in the know.
I'm not in the know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we didn't.
Ooh.
Oh, well.
So Tristan, what have you been up to?
Yeah, unfortunately not cosplay, but some cool stuff has happened. Since like the first week of February, I've like been like consistently going to therapy for the first time as an adult. So that's cool because like all the therapists beforehand were like really like religious oriented, and I'm not a very spiritual person, so that was weird. So now that's cool. I also have been nicotine free since then too, since February, which is tight. Can like do full breaths. It's great. And then I also moved into that's actually the most fun part. So like the last place that I lived in was like a hovel.
It was an attic.
And I couldn't reach my arms all the way up. So now I don't even touch.
Wow, that's better than the studio.
Are you?
It's great. I'm
seem
6'5".
very tall. Okay, I was gonna say you seem very tall just from this video.
Yeah, and
How I
so
can tell that, but
I'm pretty hyped about it. I honestly the best part about everything this year, besides we did release a record, which that's a good thing.
yeah.
But I can't touch my ceiling, which is very cool. I love that for me. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, this year has been rough. I'm not even gonna lie. I lost my job, on both ends. Like, I was a barista beforehand, and then doing the band was also kind of like touring and stuff like that. I've really just been, because I am also like a high risk individual, so like I haven't really left my house for quite some time. So I've just been learning how to do different baking stuff. I baked a little bit during quarantine, which I feel like is a thing a lot of people did. And I made a lot of like videos on TikTok as well, because I found that I really liked making comedy videos. So
Successfully too, though.
Yeah. Like I really want to point that
They're
out.
doing very well.
Okay.
yeah, for some time I would have some random videos that would just get a lot of like likes, and I'd be like, oh, all right. And then now I'm just like trying to figure out what my thing is for something like that.
Do you use GILT's music in TikTok? I don't TikTok. I tried it and it seemed like
Sometimes I feel like music in general does better when there's like a trend that follows along with it when you make a video, and I'm not very good at doing that, but we've also had some like really cool content creators use our music and like do these really cool transition videos, which has been really tight to look at. So
nice.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Awesome.
I made a podcast.
Hey.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. I forgot about that thing.
I was not very dutiful about keeping up like with it, but yeah, I have an art degree, and I made a podcast about making art because I figured everyone has a lot of free time. They're probably trying stuff, and I was like, I'm just gonna break down a lot of the like psychological stuff that goes into like thinking about art. But I just started doing interviews, and I did my second interview first just because of how scheduling lined up. But this band, Plasma, their member Rodolfo was the person I was interviewing, and it's cool. I'm excited to get back to that.
Nice. Congrats. It's probably better than this podcast.
Just me talking by myself, excluding the thing with Rodolfo.
Well, I'm glad like some positives at least came from it. Whether it be TikTok, sourdough, video editing, cosplay. But now just like to the band, like how did GILT come about? I know I read a few of your past interviews, and I read that Tyler and Tristan were the original members.
Yes.
But were y'all like in bands around Florida, and you just like met up and decided to like get together? And if
You
so,
want to field this, Tristan?
What? Yeah, sure. Can I? Okay, so Tyler has been in some bands. I've been in some bands. I was in like some sort of like, so like punk in my scene in South Florida, besides like a few bands that were very sort of like Scrams adjacent, like Calatrice, which is still one of my like favorite DIY bands to this day. And like probably one of the biggest influences on me when I was starting. There's a small band in my scene. But like for us, punk was like, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers. So like I was in like a alternative funk band playing bass. And that was a very fun time. And then I also had some solo projects, one called Halo 2, where Tyler and I played a show. But actually that wasn't the first time that I saw Tyler, because the first time I saw Tyler, they played at a holistic like vegan
At the vitamin shop.
natural shop. Yeah. Called Green Life. And you played with your duo.
Yeah.
Scum. That was a crazy fucking show because Tyrannophobia was there.
There was a metal band. I was wearing fairy wings, and there was a person in a gorilla suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. But anyway, so
Why did a vitamin shop
Yeah,
allow shit? It doesn't matter.
how did a vitamin shop?
the dude that ran
Country
it,
girls
or-
make do.
Yeah, it's true.
You would be
dude that ran
surprised
it's really
the
tight.
DIY like spots in different places. Like we've played a pizza shop, we've played like a
We played a
smoke
bank.
shop. Yeah, a bank.
A
Florida
church.
doesn't have
Different
basements.
places.
People have to throw shows somewhere.
I guess I was gonna.
Yeah.
The next question was like, what's the Florida scene like? I've never been to a show in Florida. I know in Omaha it's a lot of houses, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Void. That was the fun one in I think Lincoln.
The Void. Oh yeah.
I don't even
I've been
remember.
there. I know. Lucy's
Void's tight.
What show was
in
that?
Omaha was the big one that one of my friends ran. We did like a house fest a couple years in a row there.
Where did we play it? We played like a 2-story country bar. It was like
That was bullshit. That was in Omaha.
Yeah.
What was it
It was-
called?
I don't remember. We had to take an
We
elevator
don't
to
wanna
get to
remember.
where we were playing. Yeah.
The dude hit us with the fog machines until we like left.
What?
He also told me
There's
that
like 10
professionals
people there.
don't wear earplugs. It was fucking annoying. Can we swear on this podcast?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we always need to
I'm not-
ask.
Like, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
On behalf of Omaha. Like,
Oh
It's
no,
okay.
it's fine.
That's
There were some good people. But anyway, real fast. Yeah, no, Tyler booked my old band up in St. Augustine. So we were in different points of Florida. St. Augustine is North Florida. I was in South Florida or South Central. In like a smaller town. Where Nico's from as well, but that's a little further. And then we played a solo show when one of Tyler's other bands came in. Tyler has way too many bands, even now.
It's a problem.
And I remember seeing a Facebook post from Tyler saying, "Hey, I'm forming this new band." And I must have been quick to the draw because I clicked like and then I messaged Tyler. And then Tyler said, "Only if you play with a pick," or something along those lines, because I didn't play with picks.
I said you had to play guitar.
Yeah, but you also at some point said I had to play with a pick.
Oh, okay. Tristan's a classically trained jazz guitarist. Like, you have to understand,
I
like,
don't-
Tristan just like all fingies.
is it?
Yeah, I hate picks.
What's the? I'm not a musician. What's the benefit of a pick versus non-pick?
Sounds
It's just
cool.
different techniques. Yeah, and it's you get more
There's-
attack on the string. You get more
Yeah,
like,
it's like harsher.
plunk, plink.
Okay.
There's a lot of people
yeah.
that gatekeep not using a pick when you're playing bass, and I think that's ridiculous. Anybody that says that, I just think that's wrong.
Well, they want that big round bass tone, but like
Beefy.
everyone has
Yeah.
been commenting specifically about our bass tone on the record,
And how good it is, and that's all
because
pick.
you use a pick.
And I use a pick.
But anyway, yeah, so that's how the band sort of formed. And then from there, I took Greyhound buses up because I didn't have a car at that point. I was like just turning 17, I think.
I didn't know
But
that
yeah, it was
for the
fun.
record.
So y'all don't even live close to each other, or is
We-
that like the
we
Well,
case?
didn't
since
at the
we've
time.
relocated.
Yeah. Tristan
So we're
and Nico
closer.
both moved to St. Augustine, and then Gil was like us and our other drummer for a second, and then Ash at the time was living in Connecticut, moved to Jacksonville,
Mhm.
and then we just met at the exact right time, and it worked out.
Yeah, very serendipitous.
Wow, awesome. Well, back to the Florida scene. Like,
Yeah.
played in a vitamin shop. There's a place in Texas that you can play in a gas station. I forget what it's called.
Is that in like Denton or something?
I think it's in Denton.
I think Pool Kids played there.
I feel like every time we played,
I remember
Denton,
that.
it was a house show.
Yeah. We played with like Dead Sun and
Okay.
those bands.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Anyhow, Nico, do you want to field what is playing in music in Florida like?
Well, we don't really have a lot of house shows in Florida. Do get pretty creative. Like where I'm from, shows we had putt golf shows. We had shows at like rec, like what are they called? Like
rec centers.
rec centers. We
Yeah.
would have them anywhere that we could have a show because the noise ordinance in Florida is ridiculous, and most places either do like warehouses, they'll do like smoke shops, anything really after hours. People won't complain, but most of the house shows that I've ever seen have been shut down. So it's mostly like stuff that requires like barns and stuff in the middle of nowhere. So it's been fun in that sense, but I've noticed because of that, when like shows would happen in like the DIY sense, they would be very on and off. Like sometimes they would be very like they would happen all the time, and then sometimes they would go on hiatus for a while. But then when you get more up towards North Florida, there's a lot more venues. The problem with that is like the pros and cons is that there's usually a really big venue fee to play shows, so it doesn't really as many DIY musicians playing shows all the time.
Were there any local bands that influenced your sound, or that you saw and were like, oh man, like I like what they're playing. I want to be similar to them, not just like them, but like anybody that made a huge influence on you from around your area?
I mean, Tristan.
I think there's ones that we play with, that we really like to play with. Honestly, if just a few quick recommendations, because I think we can all speak to this like individually. But I'm going to steal this from Tyler probably, but Dikembe just dropped a new record that's incredible, and we've been listening to that a lot.
Yeah.
And they're local, they're Gainesville. They're so good. But
I really can't believe that's your first go-to. I really thought everyone was just gonna say Jillian Carter at the same time.
They're so elusive.
Oh,
but
I mean, not to play with, but I mean, when I was writing this music before I was like in the scene, but I think we started playing actively, and immediately people said like Gillian Carter, because it's like them and Gouge Away, and that's the only two screamy bands in our state.
Love Gouge Away.
Yeah,
that's fair.
As everyone does. Like we go up to the Northeast on tour, and it's like it used to be. There's always one kid at the Screamo show who has a Jesus Piece shirt, but now it's Gouge Away and Soul Glow, which is
No. Okay. Tyler like froze on my screen for
Yeah,
a
Tyler
second.
froze for me
Everybody-
too.
I was
every-
sitting here. I was like,
everybody was nodding their heads, and I was like, am I the only
I was like,
one?
if everyone's nodding their heads, they must hear Tyler. So I'll just.
I'm glad that
maybe
we
it's me.
all did that. I was
Yeah,
just
Tyler.
vibing.
Okay.
Tyler, are you there?
Yeah, we lost Tyler again. Like I said, Tyler is a void of our imagination. They will come back soon. They're just buffering.
Oh, dang.
I would also agree with Gouge Away though.
Gotcha.
Side
Yeah.
piece.
Dikembe, two great bands.
Everybody froze on my screen.
Oh, you're back.
Well,
There it is.
Oh.
Mika, would you also say like in motion though? Like local.
Yeah, like when I was like getting into the music scene, there was this local band called In Motion, and I was like obsessed with them. Like I loved their music, and at the time, like I'm the only musician in my family, so I was like, I don't know how to play instruments, but I was like, I want to play instruments now because I watched them so many times. I was like, these people are so cool. I was like, I want to do that. So then I bought a bass for my friend. And the bass's name was Marceline, and I got it for $50, and I cherished that
Hell
thing.
yeah. I think real quick, I want to say I'd like to give a shout out locally, not local to Jacksonville, but South Florida, where I'm from. A Faint Remembrance,
Yeah.
fantastic band. That, yeah, no, I love them. I was never really close to them, but I played some of my first shows with them, and have some of my like fondest memories of that scene through them. So they're very good. Like Scar still active, absolutely. I'm not sure to what degree, just because shows, but like, yeah.
I feel like all this positivity is giving a inaccurate. We just named all 5 bands in the state.
Stop.
So, like,
Stop.
no, I'm like seriously. You have to understand. Like, it's a retirement state. So, like Nico said, just noise ordinances the whole time. There's no youth culture like hubs, and then on top of that, the fact that it's a very spread out place with very few like large metropolitan cities. There's like one alternative person in every town. It's really hard to get everybody together, and in that sense it's hard to make money being in a band. So it's hard for bands to stay together, and it's respectable, all the people here who try really hard, but there's just not that much. And because there's not like culture, stuff doesn't really come in trends. So we're still doing like metal is kind of like eternal, and like butt rock. Because
whenever I think Florida, my mind goes to Fest, obviously.
Yeah,
Sure.
Like you named like Dikembe, I totally forgot they were from Gainesville. But like from an outsider point of view, like I would have never thought about the things that you just listed off, just because like you have like, I mean, you all are there. Dikembe's there, Gouge Away, Fest. Like it just seems like once October hits, well, not this year, but like maybe next year.
Yeah.
Like, once October hits, like I gotta get a ticket to Fest because I've never been before.
When
No,
Fest is your
Fest
only
is
goal
great.
as a DIY band, like for a lot of people, it's like, holy shit, we're playing Fest, and like that's top tier. Florida does not have a good scene, and I think that has to do with our geographical sort of location. The fact that we're very long, so if you're a band from South Florida, it takes a fucking while to get out and tour to the other places. And then also, where do you go? Alabama? Georgia has some decent scenes, but you have to go 5 hours into from Jacksonville, the northern tip of Florida. It's a 5-hour drive to Atlanta. The only thing you have in between that is like Savannah, which you might get lucky booking a show like 2 months in advance at a house or an art gallery that hopefully doesn't get dropped. Not saying Savannah has very, very good creative bands, like Butts, great band. But anyway, we are the scenes are here are sparse and spread out and far.
Yeah.
But
it makes people try.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Yeah,
I
it
think
does.
it forces a lot of mixed genre shows, which a lot of places think they're like too good for, you know. I feel like Ash can corroborate some of this because Ash was in the Northeast when GILT was kind of like starting, and even though Connecticut doesn't have a lot of like big scene towns, I think your drive to nearby states that did have good scenes was better than ours, right?
Yes. I mean, it was like, there was also like the train that you could take.
You could just take a train?
Yes. Yeah, like I would always just take a train into the city and just go to shows. Like, I mean, there were shows in Connecticut, but there was also like teen centers, like specifically for like kids having shows, kind of.
Yeah, we just have bars, and if you're under 21, you're screwed.
Yeah.
No, I was reading. I just bought Wash Up Emo's Anthology of Emo books just because they seem.
Oh my god, are those good? Because I kept looking at those.
Yeah, I just got it and I just started reading it, but it's basically he just from his podcast he just wrote them out basically.
Nice.
But the first, I forget who the first one is, but they talk about, they're from Milwaukee and they talk about like the mixed genre shows, and they're like, yeah, it's like, it's not like that we're getting too cool for the scene. It's just like people are still, we're just like growing out of it, but
Yeah.
still encouraging to see kids in these scenes who are still doing what they can with what they have. And like some of the magic comes from people just like throwing a metal band with like a butt rock band or like a pop band or something like that, just because it's like, you got to grow it somehow, you got to get it going. So just like, you think of like what you guys are
I
talking
love
about.
mixed genre bills. Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it conceptually, but it really depends on the audience, because we've where was that that church that we played?
Lansing,
Ash-
Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was
And we played
so
with that kind of like indie rock band. They were all wearing like Guy Harvey shirts.
You mean the
know?
dads? Like
No, well, their family was, but like they were the people who brought people, and that band didn't sound anything like us. But when we played, they were like rocking out, and their whole family,
Oh, no.
like My Chemical Romance, and I was like, nice. The fact that you knew that.
I love that. You're right. That's a I'm
And then
happy
Brillo
now.
played, right? And like we had these like mumble rappers playing, you know, like after the like rock bands, and it's cool. I mean, it just depends on the audiences. If it's
Oh no.
a bill where every single band sounds
There we
like
go.
Citizen, people won't come out. If you get one of the Citizen ripoff bands, then the crowd doesn't come. You have to have the full bill, and it's the same bill as last month, and every band sounds like Citizen, and then the crowd comes out, and they all wear their hoodies and their gym shorts so that, you know, they're all cool.
Fair, that's fair. We'll just move.
Yeah.
Just moving on to the video y'all sent us. I don't know why we do this. This is just the thing that we keep asking mans to do. But you made an emo sandwich for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
It's a little untraditional, but you know, whatever works. So yeah, just like roll it.
I'm starting.
Hi, we're GILT, and in the vein of Whose Line Is It Anyway, we're going to be making an emo sandwich. I'm Colin.
Alright, so in this emo sandwich, we got 2 slices of bread. If I could, you know.
2 slices of bread. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and grab these 2 slices of bread. There's one, or there's 2, but there's the 2 of them. And the 1 slice of bread is
Poison Oak by Bright Eye.
right, because, okay, that's emo,
And then this one is Desperacido's Mariana.
right? So Connor Oberst is both ends of the sandwich, but just different Connor Oberst projects. And it looks like I'm putting on some mayonnaise. And what is the mayonnaise? Not that emo isn't very mayonnaise already.
Thursday by Circus of Fever.
You mean Circus of Fever by Thursday?
Yep.
Yeah, that's, yep, and I'm, okay, and that part of the sandwich is done. And what am I going to be putting on the sandwich next?
All right.
Oh, my knees. We're making cheese. Okay. We're making cheese by Touche Amore. What song is it?
Huckleberry.
Okay. Oh, yeah, my favorite Touche Amore song.
Everybody's favorite brand idols with the song Mother.
Yeah, that's the ketchup. That's exactly how much ketchup I intended to put on that sandwich.
And I'm sure we all. This is me. For all of This is a me without you, sort of a me without you. I never said I was
That's
brave.
me without you? Yeah, okay, that's all good, their first word. And then I'm just gonna get it ready for the what I'm assuming is gonna be lettuce, like a normal sandwich.
Alright, and then you're gonna put in some rice pudding.
That is not, no, we're not putting, we're not putting rice pudding on the sandwich!
Come on! Motionless in white is emo.
We can't even use the sandwich now, because when you put motionless in white in your emo sandwich, it's ruined! Ruined.
Go. It's exciting. You're not having a good time. We gotta kneel down. That's the motionless in white for you.
Wow. So I don't know where to start on the sandwich. There was a ton of ketchup. There was a whole pack of turkey or chicken or something.
Yep.
And then there was a little bit of bread, or was it rice pudding at the end, I think?
We don't talk about
Motionless in white.
You know, okay,
Is there,
listen,
I mean, the ones that stood out to me just because I grew up with it was Connor Oberst with Poison Oak from Bright Eyes, and was it Mañana from Despacitos?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
way to bookend it, you know.
I thought that I was I remember in middle school I had my top 8 like in MySpace, and I don't know, my friends were always like, you know how people were about top 8. They're like, why am I never, and like you know, your girlfriend is like, why am I not your number 1? And so I always had bands as my number 1 so that nobody could fight over it, and Desperacidos was like 9 out of 10 times my number 1.
Did any bands come to you and ask to be put as your number 1?
No, nobody ever. I was a nobody. I'm still nobody. No, like nobody was trying to like pay me for promotion. God, that would have been nice.
For me, like I think I mentioned this before the call, but like I'm from like small town, middle of nowhere, Nebraska, and I was listening to Bright Eyes in like middle school, which I don't know if I should have been, but
It causes depression.
yeah, pretty much. And it just, for me, they're just a huge influence for me. And then when I did some research and found out they're actually from my state, it was just mind blowing, just because I'm from like corn and cows, and you find out like these, who I thought were like music legends, they're from your state just doing incredible things. So it's just super inspiring to me.
I would say that Connor's a music legend. I think as far as emo goes, crossing over into the mainstream, like Connor on like, what is it, Letterman? I don't even remember, one of those like, you know, the classic late night shows, and you know, him with the black shirt and like the greasy hair, like back when he was really like leaning in.
Oh, Tyler.
Oh.
Tyler knows the most
So-
about Connor.
yeah, the greasy hair.
I don't
Oh,
know so
Tyler.
much about this Connor
Okay.
man.
Yeah, neither do Nico. You have a dog in your back. Anyhow, sorry.
I mean, I'm assuming y'all have listened before.
Yeah, Tyler plays a lot of like Desperacitos whenever we were on the road, and then I only know like a couple Bright Eye songs. I like depressing music, but a little too depressing for me.
What if y'all remember the sandwich? Oh, Tyler left. If y'all remember the parts of the sandwich, which ones was like your pick or your go-to, if you remember any of them?
I personally like the Mayo, which is Circuits of Fever by Thursday, because I really
Okay.
like that song a lot, and I also like Thursday. That's probably my go-to.
Whichever part of the sandwich was, I can't remember at this moment, but was touche amore? Was it the
Cheese.
It was huckleberry.
Oh.
right, the
Cheese.
cheese?
Oh, that's
That
100% big.
yeah, that was my favorite. Although, however, motionless and white was my pick because.
How to get
Motionless and white is the rotten banana pudding.
All right, so let me just clear this up before, like, just think I don't whatever. But I love motionless and white. It's too much.
I would have
Yeah.
to go with the turkey, which was Me Without You from I Never Said I Was Brave from I think that's off A to B Life, like their first record.
Yeah. I really like Me Without
I
You.
absolutely love Me Without
But
You.
I don't think that song would have been my pick. But Me Without You is like top tier as well for me.
Sorry, I just clipped back in. I Never Said I Was Brave was from a record called I Never Said That I Was Brave, which is their first release.
Oh, is it?
It's
I thought
also,
A to B Life was their first release.
I think it's the same way that everyone talks about To the Beat of a Dead Horse as Touche's first album, and nobody talks about
It's
their
on
self-titled.
both. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it fucks. It's so good.
I think that's it for our sandwich. Like out of all the things that we mentioned in the video.
Did I miss the part where we talked
Oh,
about Ash?
Idols was there too.
Oh.
Wait.
Idols was
In
the
a little
ketchup.
bit with the rotten banana pudding.
Yeah.
Yes, we talked about Motionless and White.
Yeah.
Motionless in White is not emo. It's not. You're talking about different sort of like subsets.
It's a different
subgenres?
It's a different genre of emo,
It's
in my
okay,
opinion.
so
but
It's not
like
emo.
close.
It's liked by emo kids. Emo, the like subcultural fashion trend thing.
Yes.
Like it's what is it? Second or third generation scene, like mallcore emo.
Yeah, but everybody always talked about how there's a difference between scene kids and emo kids.
Yeah, but I think after a point they kind of merged. Like
Unfortunately.
emos were like all black and a little bit punky, and then scene kids were like flat ironed hair and very colorful, and then after a point you started getting all black but with flat ironed hair and like Monster High.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I guess
and,
so.
and that's the point when Black Veil Brides and Motionless and White and all the other like bands that I it was after my generation, but it's like in my generation they would have been fans of My Chemical Romance.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I'd agree with that. Took some thought, but yeah.
It's a great pick. I mean, once you just you connected it to My Chem, it's like I'll back the pickup. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, like we're here to talk about your new album.
Nice.
Nor What's Missing. It came out on August 21st of 2020. First off, congratulations. I think I was reading some of the interviews that y'all did around the release, and I think it was first week it reached over 10,000, or was it first couple weeks it reached over 10,000 streams on Spotify?
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Thank you.
And y'all said that this was like a little non-traditional release for you just because touring is your main way to do like an album release schedule. Like you said, you were going to go on tour for like 2 months.
Yep.
And
That's just us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said the internet wasn't really your thing when promoting your music.
Yeah.
So I guess like how did you transition? What was your strategy?
All right.
Did you take to like live streaming or like shows or anything like that, or?
We actually haven't.
Okay.
Well, we're actually I think it's safe to say that we are announcing or going to be announcing some live streams later in the future. It took us we especially being in Florida, the restrictions are so light and so many people don't follow the restrictions anyway. COVID hit real hard down here, you know.
Yeah.
So we were and still are very, very cautious around around going out and visiting. We've only met up a couple times, and of course it's just masks and everything. So the few times that we've been able to get together, we have finally pieced together a setup for a live stream. It took a really long time, but after like 2 computers and like a week of technical difficulties, we got it to work. But in terms of like prepping for this release, I would pass that off to Nico, because Nico has really taken the lead on sort of the like social media like research, or like reaching out to press people, doing an absolutely fantastic job at that. Thankfully we have some friends that like but yeah, no, I definitely Nico, you speak on that.
Well, definitely, like, since it was our first time releasing something like big, and we weren't able to tour off of it, we definitely like tried reaching out to a lot of like media outlets of different varieties, like different people that review stuff, like different just sources in general, and kind of reaching out to people that we wouldn't have expected to. And also our manager, Danny from Knife Punch, has done a really good job of helping us steer us in different directions of who to reach out to, who to advertise to. We've tried like TikTok and stuff, since that is a whole community of people who don't necessarily know about our music. So putting our music over there and then trying to like get new fans has also been a really cool way to reach out with people who we normally wouldn't have like reached out
I feel
to.
like you're
So it's kind of a new experience for us.
I feel like you're like underplaying, because you're just saying like, oh, we have to like reach out to these publications, and I think a lot of people who are in bands, like when I said we're like a real band, what I mean is like we're like artists and somebody else is kind of running our life, and we just get told where to show up, and like be charismatic, but like we're kind of not in control of ourselves because somebody smarter than us is doing that, like a normal band would with like a label. And Nico has been the one doing that. Nico is like spending hours and hours every day just scrolling the internet being like, this person does reviews, this publication has this audience, and it's a lot of work. Nico's basically like co-managing us with Danny, and then like Nico mentioned TikTok, Ash, like, so we used our budget. We had a very small, we don't have like a budget, but instead of going like, okay, we're gonna make like a third music video, we were like, what if we worked with like small mid-grade upcoming TikTok people, because that's where like young kids are now. That's where like alternative kids who like, if you want teenagers to get into your music, that's where they are. And Ash spends all day like networking on TikTok and like finding these people and bringing it to the group and saying, what do you think of this person? And Tristan and I have no clue. We're like, I don't know, they all look like clowns. And I'm not saying that in like a mean way. I mean, everyone looks like a clown. They do clown makeup.
It's just their makeup.
They do. I don't know. It's a thing. I don't understand it, but it's a thing. It kind of weirds me out. But I feel like Ash should get a lot of credit for perusing like this cultural hub, and then Nico should get credit for perusing this like just like data mining text.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say, when you just were nonchalant and be like, oh, we just reached out and this and that, I was like, I've researched and like done like trying to find people to get blocked, like get posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of emails.
Most of the time, like nobody responds, or you get like the occasional, why am I on this list? Like, what are you doing? So like when you were saying that, I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like I need to.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's a lot of emails. I'm not gonna I don't want to undermine it, but you have to expect that most people, not that to say that they don't necessarily care about what you're doing, but when these publications are receiving so many submissions every single day, like you really have to increase the people that you reach out to and send emails to, because the chances of even like a couple of them reaching back out to you are very slim, but it still increases the chances. Like I I sometimes just go out on a limb and message these like really big publications, and sometimes they respond. Like we got a response from Audio Tree, and we got a response from Billboard. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like it just like sometimes you just gotta email people, and
Yeah.
if you say the right words, they'll want to reach back out to you, which is pretty cool.
It's also sometimes
So,
people lead to people, like we were talking to this label, Take This to Heart, and Joe from the label was just like, oh, you should reach out to this person from Pitchfork. But it's like I had just kind of like cold called or cold Facebook messaged, I think it wouldn't have happened that way. I think that it's because I was having like a multi-hour phone conversation and we like bonded over like Manchester Orchestra.
Oh, nice. What?
Also, real quick, I think it's important to add, because all of this is very, very useful information to anybody listening who might be, prepping a release or whatever and needing to reach out to people. You can do it yourselves. It's super doable, but actively read reviews from other like writers and stuff, because if you're just sending things to like, I don't know, if you're just sending something to like, we'll use The Alternative, because I'm pretty sure we're all pretty familiar with The Alternative as a music blog. Follow those writers on like whatever social media that you use. Really read their stuff and like, make sure that the people you're reaching out to, it doesn't have to be everybody. So like the big people, like Billboard and shit, they get tons of submissions. But if you don't just reach out to those, reach out to like the smaller, whatever that means. But like, because everybody's a person, reach out to those people too, because I guarantee you they'll probably be much more like heartfelt and really sort of care about it than, I don't know, like medium.com or something, which we've gotten articles on Medium. They're that was great and very nice. But like the ones that I actually, I appreciate more, and I'll say that firmly, I appreciate more, is the smaller interviews that we get to do with like people, or like, this is awesome. I love this so much. We did a podcast yesterday that was so fucking fun. No, sorry, the day before.
Nonsense.
It was absolute nonsense.
Might be the lowest publication or whatever that you guys.
No, absolutely not.
It's probably my podcast. I haven't even interviewed us yet. I'm in the band. I wouldn't even accept that submission. They emailed me and I didn't even read it.
Is that gonna be like a one-on-one with yourself?
So where did I get these beautiful ideas? Well, I was sad one day. No, but I do want to kind of like circle back to Ash, because honestly, I don't ask questions a lot. Like, I'm enjoying for the first time not driving the boat in a musical project, and Nico just tells us what interviews to show up to, and then Ash just says this, and how do you choose TikTok people, Ash? And can you tell all the viewers at home why TikTok is the only place anybody should be spending money to promote? Because it is.
Yes, I can. And one of the main reasons
followers.
I can is because I've spent 2 to 3-ish years on this app. And I've just, like, the first year of it, I didn't really know like what was going on. I didn't really know anything. And like right around like last year, like early January in 2019, I was like, oh, okay, I see who like whoever the big names are, and like, the people with the biggest followings or whatever and whatnot. But the way I went about like choosing like the people that I wanted to like use our music, I just was like, okay, who are the people that have the following most aligned with ours, and who care about their content. And there's also like things about like reach on the platform. Like the algorithm of TikTok is like a mystery to everyone, but like some people,
which is good,
like,
right?
Yeah, it's just like it's like you really got to figure out like timing and all that stuff, and your own following base and like all that stuff. But I just kind of picked the people who I felt were most aligned with us, and also who I knew. Like there was this one person that just recently made a video with our song, and I was like, I know that he's going to take it and make it so, like, he did like this really cool creative transition thing that a lot of people are like, oh yes, I want to do that now too. And it's like, like it just, my mind, like watching his work, I was like, oh my God, just hit it out of the park. And that's where, and like people will see, like you can title like whatever audio names and people are like, oh, this song, I will go to Spotify. And that's literally how it's been now. Like bands from decades ago are getting like like Paramore's All I Wanted Was You, or All I Wanted just got 420,000 streams in one night because it was trending on TikTok. Like it.
Wait, how many?
420,000.
Haha, nice.
Like I also like
I gotta
read
go.
up on I'm also like reading up on you know, like what songs are tracking now because of TikTok and how like that, like what are the plays and correlates all that stuff. So it is definitely the new like kind of like music hub for like the new generation.
You got to get your podcast audio on TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, hearing all this, I'm like, I gotta get into TikTok. Like, if it's not for
I mean,
the labels or something, like, I just don't know what to.
yeah, it's like I don't think you have to make stuff, but I think when I don't know, a couple years ago when I was trying to listen to new music or something, I would just go on YouTube and I would like kind of let it autoplay. Like I remember listening to like Modern Baseball, and then all of a sudden Citizen would come up, and that's how I discovered a lot of those bands. And now it's like Nico will be listening to new music, and I'm like, how'd you hear about this? And Nico will be like, TikTok. Like everything is, and we'll like, I will on my personal Instagram get like 10 new followers in one day, and I'm like, what? And then Ash will be like, oh, I posted the band's Instagrams on TikTok, and all these like 13-year-old kids who are wearing like black and like striped clothes and have like, you know, big puffy black eyes are like following us.
Yeah.
It's where you find the people.
It's also
TikTok.
Oh, sorry, what?
I said TikTok's the new scene.
No, it is.
Yeah,
for real.
it is.
Like dead serious.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where like the new like generation of like thriving, like kids have these such big platforms now, and it's like wild to generation with so much influence. And like some of these people will like post a song and they'll like skyrocket them into having all of these like listens and follows. Like I've seen it happen with a lot of people, and a lot of unsigned people too have like charted boards because of TikToks. And like it's stumped a lot of people in the music industry, because like before then it was just like kind of pay to enter, and then there's these artists that like are turning down these major like people just because they don't have to like sign with somebody anymore, which is pretty cool, I would say.
Next thing you know, they got TikTok houses.
They do. They already do.
Like, they have,
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's wild.
Just going on to, I guess, the whole album as itself. Ignore What's Missing. The opening track is titled or I don't know, either vice versa, but it's the same.
Yeah.
The album. And one of the lines is ignore what's missing, focus on what's there. Along with like a bunch of the other lyrics in the track. I guess this is like a huge statement just to open the track up with. What does it mean to you, and how does it? Is there like a reason it's at the beginning? Is it
Yeah.
shadowing of the entire album, or what did you want fans to know, like what they were getting into?
Okay. Before I answer this, what's your stance on us discussing problematic artists?
I go for it.
Okay, I don't know if we want to just pretend they don't exist, or I've said this before and everyone hates it. You know that Kanye West line from 808s and Heartbreak where he says, "You're worried about the wrong things, the wrong thing." You know that part? Yeah. That's
Nobody ever does.
Listen,
Nobody does.
it's the
I'm
record.
convinced it's not real.
It doesn't matter. So anyhow, that line, ignore what's missing, focus on what's not there. It's kind of intended as like a diss in that same way, where it's just like you got your priorities messed up. Like you're so focused on like things that you like wish you had or whatever,
For sure. I mean, just from some of your other interviews, it is, you mentioned that it's very like focused on like not only yourself but like society as a whole. I guess when did you start writing it? When did you have to like stop and pause and like scrap some of it because of
Oh yeah,
that happened with
So many.
like the murders of like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor,
yeah.
to name a few, and just like everything that's happening in society now? Like, was there a version, and then you're like, hang on, like this,
Yeah,
you got to add, like, there's so many new feelings, there's like so much more to talk about.
I think a lot of the more kind of just emotional songs were the beginning of the writing process. Like the first song I ever wrote for Guilt was Numbers. So like that song's been there the whole time, and that was tackling like kind of like religious stuff. And like Numbers and Blue Ink Pen I was writing right when my dad became a pastor, because religion was entering my life in a big way. And then like Flowers is about like censorship, and that was at the time my friend was a nude model, and they like, you know, that was a part of my life. But then all the political stuff has kind of come up in like the last year or so. I don't think that the record in a specific way tackles the current like BLM stuff. We had a whole single that we did for that called Black and Blue, and like I didn't like I usually write all the lyrics, and I usually like, you know, front the band, but I didn't feel like that was exactly my thing to talk about. So Ash and I like co-wrote that, and then Ash fronted that song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
No, it's great. I guess I guess now that you've had such like success with this album, but it seems like touring isn't going to happen for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Couple of years, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating because like yesterday I believe all of the restrictions got lifted in Florida
Yeah.
Yep. Phase 3.
immediately, and people are already, not that people weren't playing shows already, but people are starting to ask bands to play shows next month, and
Next month.
it's flu season, like they're happening right now, and I'm just like, this is gonna be sort of like positive expectation of anything happening for a really long time, and I'm like, it's scary.
It really sucks.
I've been noticing like bigger bands have been booking. I mean, this is still like months down the road, but I don't see it getting any better between now and then. It's just they're booking tours in Europe for like March.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we actually we were supposed to be we were talking
In
about
Europe.
a Europe tour earlier this year, and we canceled it right before COVID because there was a non-refundable deposit on like vans and gear and stuff. So like this was already in the talks, and I was kind of half joking, half not with some people the other day. I was like, you know, I think we should just go ahead and book a European tour, because it's going to be more realistic for that to happen than for us to plan an American tour. And they were like, yeah, except for we can't leave America right now because our country is handling this so badly. The rest of the world doesn't trust us, so we can't leave. And I was doing.
Well, they're also having cases surge in Europe again, like because people are starting to go out so frequently. Like Spain is having a problem. The UK is
I thought
having
Spain
cases
had
surge
it
up.
knocked out, like almost the best of everyone.
There, I mean, it's not as bad as the United States, obviously, but
Sure.
it's because people are starting to forget about social distancing and stuff. Like, it's just coming back up again. It's like, I think it's gonna happen for quite some time. And it's I think it's something to talk about, the state of touring musicians in general. Like, it's kind of scary to think that that might disappear, or that might not be, a thing
All
for
right.
a really long
New
time.
plan. We're gonna take our entire advertising budget. We're gonna turn it into V-Bucks, and we're gonna be one of those bands that has a show in Fortnite. It worked for Travis Scott. We're gonna get a custom
That's
skin.
a thing?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, and it was
Yeah.
a
Oh,
big deal.
hell yeah.
I was trying to explain to my uh a person I know. It's complicated to explain how we know each other. Anyhow, that virtual music, not like live streams, because live streams are, I love them and I respect that they have to happen, but like it's low quality because these people are just trying their best. Their internet's not good, their home setup isn't, a studio. But like I was showing him like Hatsune Miku, and I was like, or like, the Gorillaz, Death Clock, like all of those bands who were using 3D and like, like projectors and light shows and stuff, and then talking about how Fortnite has been doing all this music stuff, and all these artists are, the smart ones are cashing in on that now. And it's like, I was playing Fortnite last night and they were just playing one of the like shows in the map, and there was nobody standing there, and then the video they were like, yeah, let me hear you, Fortnite, let me see you, woo. And I was like, that's silly, because even if everybody was there, the artist, it's pre-recorded, the artist can't see you, but it's like people love that energy.
I mean, Fortnite just did. They did the Travis Scott thing, and then they
Yep.
did BTS premiered a video in it.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So it's just like different ways. And I've seen, man, who is it? I think it's Summit Shack in Michigan. It's a DIY venue. They do like
Oh, yeah.
they do like Minecraft.
Mindchella.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Mindchala was good.
I went to the Origami Angel one of that.
oh, I saw them.
It was fun.
I live in LA right now. I saw them when they came through, like right before
Oh, dope.
shut down everything. They were insane.
Yeah, but
You live
imagine
in
seeing them
LA?
in Minecraft.
Yeah. I started the label when I lived in Austin, and then I got back into school, so I moved from Nebraska, Austin, Pittsburgh.
Oh, dope.
Wow.
Have you ever heard of a place called the Emerald House? Because that's where we played in LA.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
house-
We held
Okay.
we held a show with I think it was Tommy. It was who we booked it with.
Tommy, that's so familiar. Yeah, okay.
But I think we tried booking more shows, and then he told me that they had like a roommate situation where somebody didn't resign, so they had to move out.
Gotcha.
Classic house venue. Was that the place where they had like the big wall, and it's because the street was a slope?
Yeah,
Yeah, we got a
Yep.
parking ticket there.
there's like a tree.
Yeah.
They had like a nice setup with the tree.
Yeah.
Play.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I love that place. But like,
I almost like tripped into the ditch that's right next to the venue while we were playing.
It was fun. The load in
Yeah.
and load out was absolutely horrible. And
Your
the parking
puddle
in
was full of
California is so bad.
rocks.
yeah, I know. It's just out here, like especially in LA, it's tough to get like there aren't very many, if any, DIY venues. One,
Sure.
because like city ordinance, and two, just because it's so expensive to have a venue and to pay money to keep it open. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if you've heard of The Smell, which is downtown LA.
No.
Mm-mm.
It's some like classic like DIY punk venue. It smells like urine, and I think they've been like saving the smell for like 10 years now. But
I heard that
Jesus.
924 GILT shut down.
Yeah.
yeah,
Did they?
everything's like this just hit everybody, and it's terrifying.
Just
That's it. I mean, I love California, but it's like you have to have money just to breathe the air there. There's no Walmarts for us to sleep in their parking lot. How are we supposed to be a band?
Yeah.
It's weird out here for sure. It's not like the scene that I'm used to for sure. But yeah, I guess like with touring off the table for the next like couple year at least, maybe like what's next for GILT? Like
I'm already writing the next record because I've been like keeping up with how bands are releasing music now. And I know that like records and like record release cycles are kind of an outdated idea, especially even, you know, without COVID, just with streaming being the new thing. So assuming that like next year maybe we'll be able to be touring on this, that's also when we need to be putting out new content. So whether, I guess what I'm doing now ends up being like singles or another EP or like, you know, another album, like we need to have something ready, which is a weird thing because like you would think, you know, your promotional cycle is supposed to last about a year, but this year has already been eaten up. So we're working on music, but you know, it's like now we kind of have numbers and we can say, hey, you know, whatever label, we had 500 monthly listeners before our record dropped, and then we got it up to 2,500, and we had a, you know, a $200 promotion budget, and we spent most of it on TikTok. So imagine what we could do with label money, you know. So hopefully, whatever we do next, we can like ramp up the promotion, and then we're gonna do that Fortnite thing.
I mean, that's all I had. Did anybody want to add anything or say anything to?
Okay, so in my mind, you know those country western films, but it's like one of those ones where it's about Hollywood. So you see the town, and then you actually get to go behind the buildings and you see that it's just the face of a building, you know, with like slats holding them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's what I imagine Nebraska's like. And playing the bank teller, playing the chef, playing the person who works on the car, and every single one of those fake buildings as the camera pans by is Connor Oberst. Is that true?
I'm sure there's a lot of people who aspired to be him. But they're honestly like, I feel like it's tough because when bands are like touring, you want, like, Lincoln and Omaha are the big cities. Like Grand Island's up and coming, but
Right.
they don't have a music scene. But it's like you're coming in from the east, and you can hit like Des Moines, and then you can either go down to like Kansas City, or you can go like Omaha down to Kansas City.
I think we came from Boise.
Oh, you came all the way from Idaho?
We went up
Yeah.
California and then started heading east. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I want to make an interjection.
Go for it.
You're from Nebraska and stuff. Does Kearney suck shit? Because I fucking hate Kearney. We played Kearney. We played a biker bar.
Was that place with the popcorn machine?
Yeah.
Oh
That's
God,
Kearney.
I think about that all the time and how bad that was.
I hated it. Not just because I didn't have phone service, but because it smelled like manure.
That whole town was just one street.
It sucked. I had a Taco Bell. That was cool.
I have to say, like, Kearney has like a venue or a couple, but it's tough.
There is one band from Kearney that is good, and I'm pretty sure they're called Salt Creek.
Oh yeah, I love Salt Creek.
They're good. I remember listening to them because the show that we played at I think it was the Void. The dude did like a solo thing, but I know that he's in Salt Creek, and I remember listening to them afterwards and still have them on like my Spotify. They're good.
Yeah, Salt Creek is sick.
Hell yeah.
Like Nebraska has like a thriving scene, and there's tons and tons of good DIY bands. It's just difficult to get people to come through when touring was a thing, or like before it got shut down. It's just difficult to get people to stop in, which is like disappointing. So that's like why we did 2 House Fest shows where we took my friend's house, who was a venue, and we did a basement set, and then we did a garage set, and we just like, I think the first year we had Remo Drive come in and play.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was sick. But it's just like trying to get like stuff like that, like for bands to come in and give them a reason to stop. But like after you hit Omaha, it's like you go to Kansas City maybe, or you have like an 8-hour drive to Denver, which nobody wants to do. So
Right.
there's just not like a lot of places to stop in between. Like you said, you hit Kearney, which was like not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Is Grand Junction on the way to Denver? Was that
Did we play
after?
Grand Junction?
Yeah, it's a really pretty place. I
Grand
think that's where
Junction
we-
is on the way to Denver. It was
Yeah, that's
before.
where we found the cursed chalice in the river. Remember?
Yes, that was on the way to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And then we met Chris Mercer. Shout out to Chris Mercer.
Yeah.
Ah, what a sweetie.
Chris has a new band, so I don't want to shout out their old band. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
the new
I
band.
forgot the name of the
Anyhow,
new band. It's probably a
So-
Nirvana song.
You're telling me that Connor Oberst isn't every single person in Nebraska? Are they all just dolls stuffed with corn? Like, there's no way that there's more than 10 people in that state.
I mean, my town's like under 1,000. So
Wow.
you said one street. I was just like,
There was a good burger place, Burgers and Freedom.
Was
That place is
Lincoln, wasn't it?
delicious. I think so.
Yeah.
It's probably Lincoln.
Burgers and Freedom was very good.
Wait, was it Honest Abe's?
Yes.
Honest
Yes, it
Abe's.
was.
That's what it was called.
Yeah, that place is so good.
It was so good.
It's so good.
Okay, so I do like, I don't know if, I mean, I guess we didn't do a lot of research, but I do like that in like that part of the country, I wasn't completely sure that if a place is like patriotism or like American president theme, that it's also like racist. Whereas in the South, if you see an American flag, you can kind of assume something negative, which isn't how it should
Yeah.
be. But like, we went to a barbecue place in Nico and like Tristan's like hometown area.
Oh
and
God.
said, "We're proud of our past," and I was like,
Yikes.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think there's, well, maybe with a lot of other places, there's room to improve upon that in the state. Lincoln, and the weird thing about it is when it comes down to like electoral votes, it's split into thirds based on population. So like Omaha is big enough to have its own, which usually goes blue, and then it's like another like sliver, which includes Lincoln, and that's like on the fence. But then you have like the entire rest of the state, and that's like red, like for sure.
Right, because that's like the sort of like disparate farmer area.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the state doesn't have like a past similar to that of the South, where it was part of the Confederacy or anything like that. But there's definitely like some issues when it comes to race and stuff like that, just because like there aren't a lot of different people. Like it's mostly white. Like
Yeah, I guess that's
That was true. That
Yeah,
was
like-
true.
like my hometown was basically 99.9% white. And
So
until,
like every DIY show.
yeah, well we didn't have DIY scenes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So like the entire discography of emo.
Yeah, pretty much. And so like when it wasn't until like I really got to like to college in Omaha where I started to like become more familiar and like make new friends that were
Right.
different from me and like get in the scene. And it's just not a lot of people have that insight. Because a lot of people just like stay home and work and stuff like that, and that's totally fine. But it's just
Yeah, I wish we were more like Europe, where it was normal to travel to places that have like vastly different cultures, but we just don't have that opportunity, because we are a freaking continent.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that stuff is just exposure, and it's unfortunate, like you said, that like even with a place that doesn't have like the worst history, that just by lack of exposure, people get these stupid ideas.
definitely, yeah.
Ash being from Connecticut, I'm sure can speak to that also.
Yes.
But they're
Anyhow.
like rich white people, so they have to be at least performatively liberal, right?
I mean, yeah, you would think.
You would hope.
Anyhow,
Third term.
yeah. It's a lot of that.
Well, I mean, we can continue talking on this, I'm sure, for a while, but I just want to say thank you for joining me. Sorry it took a while to get this scheduled. Life's been pretty crazy so far.
No,
That's
it's
so
totally good,
understandable. Yeah.
Thank you
good.
for answering my long-standing question about Connor Oberst being
Yeah.
every resident of your state.
You can if you have any more, I'll send it to the 10 people back.
Send it to the council, which is
Yeah.
Send
Connor
it to
over.
the 6 people who aren't Republican.
And see what they say about it. But yeah, thank you. Again, we have GILT with us. Their new album, Ignore What's Missing, just came out a little over a month ago. Go stream it. We'll have it linked below. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.